Hi, thanks for registering for the Get Mortgage Free in 7 Years webinar. I came up with this when I was at a seminar in London about 10 years ago, and it was all business people telling their stories, okay? Now, the only one who hadn't gone completely broke were the guys involved in stocks and shares. But anyone who was involved in property had gone fierce broke completely, at least once. And one of those guys came up with this mathematical formula that does work, but it's more ranking debt and organising your finances in a smart, intelligent way, and just once, alright? So by the time you finish watching this, it takes about 15 minutes, you'll know a lot more. Now I do have an offer for you at the end, if you want to stay to the end, and if I was you, I would seriously consider it, okay? There you go. Kevin Barry is my name. Okay. Just some things to do before we start. Make sure you can hear me, make sure the sound is up. Whether you're watching me on an iPhone or Skype, get rid of any distractions around you, okay? Turn off the phone, turn off the TV, put the dog out, and if you're a wife, put the husband out, and if you're a husband, put the wife out. You get the point. You know, put the kids to bed, all that stuff. You don't want to be watching this 2 and 3 times, alright? Now, just in Ireland alone, just a little shocking statistic, and I got that about 8 months ago. There's 130,000, it hasn't changed, 130,000 people behind on their mortgage alone. Now I did get a write-off for some people this week, but that took me years of transparent and straight negotiation to organise. A lot of worry, pain and all that, so the write-offs aren't the solution all the time. I'm going to show you 3 things, I promise you that, okay? I'm going to show you how to get your earnings up smartly and without you being greedy and doing people out of money, okay, or stealing. I'm going to show you how to get some wasteful spending down, just remind you of it, okay? And lastly, I'm going to show you how to pay off, which is why you're on this, your mortgage within 7 years. I have a great life, okay? And I'll tell you why you can make a great life. If you're used to spending a certain amount of money, you know, just going straight to the bank or the county council to pay off your home mortgage, then if you don't have to do that, you have that amount of money freeing up 7 years from now. Now this does work, I've done it myself, and I've had other clients do it, okay? Just a quick one with myself, if you go onto our website, barryaccountants.ie, it's down there at the bottom. You will see an about us, or go onto LinkedIn or Google me, it's all there, okay? Feel free to email me any questions. If you go on there to barryaccountants.ie, you can email in any questions and I will respond within 24 hours. Okay. Now the one thing I'll say is it's very hard to think when you're under financial pressure. This example I've coming up is based on a real life clients who we helped with a couple of years ago, and the same numbers apply to you as apply to anybody, okay? Alright, I'll just give you the background. I'm an accountant myself, but Bill was an accountant. These names are fictional, by the way, but the situation isn't. And his wife Margaret, or Maggie, worked from the home, raising the kids. He ran the business, she was raising the kids, bringing them to school, helping them with the homework. By the time I met them, to clear their heads, they'd been married for 10 years, they were always arguing and fighting, interrupting each other, constantly worried, they couldn't think straight or write a check for fear it would bounce, or what the bank would think, or what people would think, and they were easily very stressed out when they came in our door. So I put this system together at the time, so with their permission I have used their details here, okay? But this was typically what was coming in. Like, they weren't, you wouldn't think they were that tight, but there's so much going on. So after tax coming in the door, 4,500 every month. It pretty much averaged that all the time. That was the direct debits from the business account to the personal account, okay? Then out of that, they were paying their home mortgage, and I'll show you how much that is in a moment, 1124 with the repayments, paying off their car. They had a couple of TVs and a 3-piece suite on hire purchase, okay? The Visa cards were paying the minimum payments. Someone had taught them into paying money into a pension, which is fine, but you'll see in a minute about priorities, because they mightn't live to see that. There was some life assurance on the mortgages. John O'God's was a contribution towards people with gambling or addiction issues. Bupa was health assurance. Now that will always stay. Okay, don't let anyone talk you into cutting that. Food, heat, oil all around the place. They had Sky going to keep the kids quiet. Lunches, mostly eating out, small lunches, nothing major, soup and sandwich. Entertainment every month, 500 a month, you wouldn't feel it. And then there's always something, you know, kids going to other people's birthdays, sleepovers, little thank yous, 200 quid a month is what that was working out at. But no matter what you did, I see there now that exceeded what was coming in. There's no room there for savings or anything. And that was the minimum payment on their mortgage. Okay? So they had €43 short a month. Doesn't sound too much when I say 43, okay, but that's what it was. Where they stood financially was as follows. They had, their home was worth 180,000. It's still not worth much more than that, because properties aren't really, I know they're going up in rent wise, but the buying power isn't there to put this 4-bedroom semi any higher than 180. The car was worth 10,000, but there was 10,000 owed in it. There was 200,000 owed on the mortgage on the house, which was a combination of the house was worth less than what they bought for it, and secondly, they weren't paying enough off them. You know, the house had dropped below what the mortgage was on it. Okay, they paid about 280 for that house. The furniture, there was 7,000 owed in it. I mean, that's in the house, that's really it. TV, 3216, what was up with them? Great idea at the time. Visa cards, 2,850. So they were 23,000 the wrong way. Now it doesn't really matter what the wrong way is, it's the principle of it, and it's seeing what you own versus what you owe, okay? So the first thing is they've got to earn some more money, because they're short anyway, okay? There's various ways. They need to earn 10% more, right? That's our rule, 10%, right? So they either do better at their job, so adding more value so people pay more for that, or do more work more often, less downtime. Get a second job, wait tables, cut lawns, do bookkeeping for the people at home. If another way you can get it is if you're working full time, you start a business on the side. It could be washing cars, it could be servicing people's lawnmowers, whatever. Start a business full time. So in other words, if you're idle, like Maggie was in this case, is there some room for her to start a business part-time or full-time, or partner up with somebody else? Okay, these are just some ways you could do it, but what happened with these people was the following. He was an accountant working for another accountant, okay? So he asked the boss if it was possible to bring a bonus system in. So, in other words, whatever the sales were averaging per month there, if they went above that, and he was responsible for it, could he get a cut of that? So it was agreed a 5% bonus, because he knew, you know, just by better time management, simple stuff, that he could get stuff billed a bit quicker, which would bring the monthly sales up and free up time the next month to do further work, okay? So if there's no incentive to do it, it was never going to happen. So the boss wins because he keeps 95% of that money, and this guy brings home 5%. So that alone brought in an extra 200 a month extra for Bill, okay? Maggie just had a look at what she could do, typing onto phones, emails, website work, okay? And she sent around a little flyer where she did up Microsoft Word to a load of businesses that were within range of her. But 2 of them were local solicitors and 1 was electrician. These were all Dublin, and 2 carpenters as well come on after that. But effectively for 3 mornings a week they would divert their phones to her. She would handle calls, take down the messages. She was clued in, she knew the questions to ask and the information to get, such as name, number, email, what's the main issue, okay? And then in the afternoon she'd send 1 email to each of those guys, okay? And they would just respond to the messages. Hopefully they responded, but at least they had them, okay? Instead of people getting frustrated, ringing. Between the 250 a month she earned extra, and it knocked nothing out of her because the kids were at school, and his money, 450 a month was earned. So that's point 1. So we need to look at that. Point 2 then, whenever earning it, you don't want to be blowing it, okay? So this is the schedule again of where the money was going, okay? But the key thing is simple when I say it, and you know it, is stop buying stuff you don't need, you know. So even there with the screen, if you go into a shop and you say, I like that shirt or I like that jacket, and pick up and buy it, rather than do that, you can always ask the cashier to hold it for you, or is there plenty of them there, and decide the next day, do you really need it? Okay, that alone would cut a load of this impulse buying. Okay, if you were my client and you owned a shop, I would be working on getting people to impulse buy off you, you know. In this case, we want to stop the customer impulse buying. So, well, stop buying stuff you don't need. I mean, there's loads of them. I was writing them down just before this started. I mean, do you need to buy lunch every day? Do you need to buy breakfast? I mean, you don't. If you keep receipts, you might stop overpaying your tax. Keep receipts for dental and medical. Keep receipts for, you know, parking charges. Turn off the data roaming on your phone. Don't be buying toys for people who don't need them. Okay? I mean, kids have too many toys. What are you buying them for? You know, they prefer to go outside and kick a ball. Okay? Biros, they're free in Paddy Power and William Hill and all these places. In the supermarket, go in with a list. Don't be buying, you know, a thank you card, handwritten. Who handwrites stuff anymore? Would mean more to people than sending a bottle of wine around. Okay? A card to say thank you for what you did for me. That is, you know, that personal touch means more than a simple gift. People have lots of stuff now. Newspapers is all online. You read it on your phone. I see a business not a million miles away that is employing window washers when they've loads of staff themselves to do the cleaning. If you buy Starbucks, you wouldn't have to go out and pay, you know, $4.50 for a Starbucks coffee. If you bought the packet for $4.50 and made 30 coffees out of it. If you have a debit card and you go to the ATM, there's no charges. But go to the ATM of your own bank, that tends to be the free one. Whereas you go to the ATM of other banks, they charge you. So these are just throwing away fivers and euros. Clothes, just wear what you need, buy quality in the first place. A mortgage and credit cards eat up debt. Pay-per-view, we'll look at Sky in a minute, but do we need to do pay-per-view, go around somewhere else and watch it? Okay, so these are ideas on how to stop wasting money, and if you look at your own life, you'll find more. I mean, buy petrol at the cheapest place, or if there's a free car wash on a Saturday with a fill of petrol, go for that, or diesel. Buy coal for the house in bulk, okay? But by Bill and Maggie looking at this, right, this is where they made the savings. So what we discovered was the €31 they thought was going towards life assurance was actually a savings scheme. Really, it was kind of sold to them that there'd be some savings in the insurance. So, but really, it was a waste of time. You know, they're paying huge interest out on loans and trying to save small money on the side. Waste of time. So we cut that, €31 a month there. Same with Irish Life, another savings scheme. John O'God's, listen, if they have a load of money made in a few years, they can afford to throw a good lump sum at John O'God's rather than €15 a month. So that was blocked. The pension, might live to see it. We've other priorities at the moment, alright? And rather than blindly throwing, I mean, $150 a month wasn't enough anyway to give them any type of a lifestyle, but by cutting their debt and therefore cutting their interest bill and maybe their tax bill, that would give them a better future. Okay, we got rid of the pay-per-view stuff on the Sky because just cut it. Okay, and straight away within a week, Sky rang up, offered them a different type of deal for 6 months. Then you cut again. You can live without Sky, so you can move to free to air eventually. But the €30, €60 was saved immediately, but €30 is what they went back paying when Sky phoned them up. They were spending $500 a month in entertainment. $100 a month was saved on staying in one night every 3 weeks and cooking in or eating over, bringing a nice plate or something over to someone else's house and doing a come down with me. It was great crack. Different couples and everyone kind of does voting and all this, Okay, and rather than eating out lunch, soup and sandwich every day or buying coffees, they bought a takeaway cup and were saving €100 a month by having sandwiches and work 3 days a week instead of going out and spending more money on nothing. Some people console themselves by saying, well, when I'm out, I'm networking. Well, generally they're not. They're just saying hi in a coffee shop. That's all they're doing. Networking is different. There is this thing, never lunch alone. If your networking is a lunch, that's fine. It wouldn't even come in here. Okay. So the next thing, anyway, is what we did with that money. Okay. Okay, now all this can happen very fast. Okay, you start earning more, you start spending less. Okay, but this is where their money was going. Remember that? Okay, and this is what they owned. Remember that? So the first thing was we had to look at their debt. So when I looked back at what they owed, see these items here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 223,066 that they owed, okay? We ranked it when you look at the repayments of each of them. So 1124 is what's being paid currently on the home mortgage, 202 on the 5-year carrier, 222 on the furniture hire purchase, and so on. Okay, where you divide the repayments into the balance owing, trust me on this, it kind of gives you an indication of how much debt is left on them. So for instance, with the mortgage there was almost 15 years left on that mortgage, okay? And then with the 5-year loan carrier, there was just over the 4 years, and some on the furniture, just over the 3, and the lowest one anyway was the Visa card number 1, where 131 into 2,000 owing on it. Now I know there's 100% interest nearly, but effectively they would have that paid off in 15 months if they kept it the 131 was the way. So we looked at which one had the shortest way to go. So Visa card 1 had the shortest way to go. The TV hire purchase with the repayments versus what was owing on it had the second shortest. Visa card number 2 had the third shortest. The furniture hire purchase had the 4th, the car loan the 5th, and the home mortgage the 6th, okay? But between all of that, if you add up how much was owing in all of those, I calculated there was 27 years worth of debt that they were paying off in different ways, in different periods, and different times. Some of these there's a tax break on, some of them there isn't, okay? And in this guy's case there was no tax break on any of it. But if there's a tax break on some of it, you know, that's handy, but you don't keep the non-tax break going longer. So this is what happened after that. So there's the 1842 per month they were paying out. See here, 1842, 1842. The 454 that they were earning by spending less, and the 450 they were earning by earning more, okay, it was 904 extra. So we added that to the 1842 that they were just meeting, and they've 2746 to pay off per month, okay. So what happens is you apply the extra 904 to number 1. So 904 plus the 131, okay, is what we're going to address first. So I'll show you what occurs, right? So priority number 1 was Visa card number 1, and by paying off 1,035 a month as opposed to the 15 quid, 2 months later we've the first Visa card cleared, okay. Then you move on to the second ranking, which was the TV hire purchase, okay. So here then you add the 904, which was the extra money, plus the 131 we no longer have to spend on that Visa card. Now you're still spending out the full amount here, plus the 130 that's already going. That means we're at 1165. 3 months later we've the TV hire purchase paid off, okay. Then we move to ranking number 3, okay, and here we take the 1165 plus the 33 euros that's already being spent on that Visa card and getting us nowhere really, and it's gone in a month, okay. So now we've got rid of the 2 Visa card debt, you don't want to start running it up again, and the TV hire purchase. Then you move on to number 4, okay, and so on. So as eventually you've a big lump going with what's there, and as you clear one item, you bring that money with you to the next one. So we're constantly spending the 2746 per month. We're constantly earning the 10% extra. We're constantly cutting out, spending the 10% more, okay, and we end up getting up here where we've the full 2746, as opposed to 1124 going against the mortgage every month, okay? And instead of that taking 178 months to clear off, we've it done in 73. And when you add up what you've really spent time-wise paying these items off, that's just over the 7 years, okay? To clear all that debt, okay? And at this stage then, you're used to having 2746 of money going out. Now you can throw plenty of money at John and God's, plenty of money at your pension, plenty of money at investments for the kids after that. But it's all down to earning a bit more, spending a bit less, okay? So what have I just shown you? I've shown you how to increase your own money coming in, reduce the waste of money going out, okay, and how to apply it in ranking the debt against your personal debt, okay. This gets rid of personal debt then, you're grand, you would know yourself, okay. There's loads more you can do, but that's it. Now if you have any questions or answers, just go on to my website, barryaccountants.ie. There's a contact form there, and email me, okay. And secondly, if you want, we do for €250 a once off that will get the details from you, we'll rank your debt and we'll tell you exactly how much to pay. And once a year we'll check into you for a nominal fee, like 50 quid, we'll just look it over, see how it's going. Okay? But 250 once off gets you going. Okay? Feel free to do it yourself, have a shot at it. But if you come through us, you'll have your 7-year debt payoff ranking done, signed off. And I'm quite quick with it. I just get the information from you. You've got to do a little bit of digging. That doesn't matter whether you're dealing with me or with somebody else or yourself. You have to dig out the information so that we can work on what the reality is. Everything is strictly confidential and we'll stick with you, okay? But nothing will happen unless you make it happen. Alright, so that's how it works. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.